Okay, so for redox chemistry, we needed to check. So we consider a redox reaction only when we have electrons going from one atom to the other. So if someone loses, someone needs to gain electrons in order to be a redox chemistry. What we do, we just look at the whole molecule and try to see if we see some electrons going from one specific atom to another, to one specific atom to another specific atom. So let's look at this whole reaction here. Mg plus, can you read it to me?
H3, 2H3PO4.
Okay.
And then goes to 3H2 plus Mg3PO4.
Okay. So there's two things we need to remember when you're trying to accomplish this type of problems. First one is called electronegativity. So this is not here. This is my periodic table. Here's my hydrogen. What's that H? Do you remember how the electronegativity works? It goes from left to right, bottom to top, right? We're not counting these guys here. So the higher electronegative, more willing to hang out with electrons the atom is. And another thing is that if I have +4, -4, and a 0, every time my oxidation number goes from a 0 to a positive number, or to a bigger number, this is oxidation. And every time goes from a big to a smaller number, reduction. Okay, let's look this reaction up.
Okay.
Mg by itself, what is the oxidation number there?
0.
0. Hydrogen. We could have this in two different ways to accomplish. I like doing this. H3PO4. I break them in two parts. I know that this polyatomic is a 3-, right?
Mm-hmm.
What atom is the most electronegative between phosphorus and oxygen? If you look,
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Because oxygen is the most electronegative, it receives a 2-, right? Because it's always a 2- on here.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do 2 minus times 4, -8. Here is a 3-. It's the final answer. I want to get it. What number do I need to put here that when I added a -8 gives me a -3?
A 5.
A 5, +5. So I know that phosphorus is a +5.
Okay.
So when I combine this polyatomic with the hydrogen, I do not have any charge associated with it. So I know that hydrogen is a +1 because +1 times 3 gives me a +3, so they will cancel out the charge, right? So now I know that this is a +1, +5, -2. Do you have questions on this one?
No.
No?
No. I don't know. So only on polyatomic ions you do that, like the -2 times the only time you do that.
Yeah. When I'm having two atoms and I need to assign what one is the most electronegative, I just look at my periodic table.
Okay.
And I say, well, this is the most electronegative. If phosphorus was the most electronegative, then the charge would be -3 because it's 4, then -3, -2, -1. But because it is not the real positive, I know oxygen is a -2, 2-.
Okay.
Now I go here. Hydrogen by itself,
0.
0. Now let's do the same thing on here. I break them apart. PO4, 3-. Can you tell me the oxidation number for oxygen?
the oxidation number for oxygen is 2 minus again?
Yes. Why?
Because on here, it's the most electronegative.
Yes. One number is my phosphorus. So when I add it here, the oxidation for phosphorus, -8 gives me a -3.
Plus 5.
Plus 5. Plus 5. I know that this number here goes in there, right? So I know this is a 2 plus.
Okay.
Now that I have all numbers, I start looking at first this guy, Mg, it went from a 0 to a 2 plus. Small number to a big one. What happened there?
It oxidized.
Yes. So I know that this oxidized, and then I look at hydrogen went to a +1 to a 0. A bigger number to a small one. What happened?
Wait, which one is this?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen. Okay. This is from a +1 to
To-
a 0.
Yep.
So that means it's reducing. So it's reduction.
Reduced. Yes. And if I look phosphorus, +5 to +5, nothing happened. Oxygen, 2 minus to 2 minus, nothing happened.
Okay.
So I know that this guy oxidized, therefore it is the reduced agent. And this guy reduced, therefore is the oxidized agent.
Okay. And then I know they like switch places. They do like a.
Yes.
So the oxidized one was the reducing agent, and the reduced one is the oxidizing agent.
Yes.
Which that doesn't make sense. Like, what does that mean? Like the
Oxidized agent and reduced agent means this guy oxidized, so it is a reducing agent because it helps someone to be reduced. Remember, there's 2 electrons that
Oh, because it gave electrons away.
gave to someone, so help someone to reduce. At the same time, this one that received the electrons helps someone to oxidize.
Okay.